broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Well, hello there. This is Steve Hines from Hope Wellness Center in Cunha, Mexico. And I love listening to Justin and Kate because they provide such cutting-edge information. Tune in live every day to get inspired and learn about natural health. Dr. Feelgood signing off.
Okay, we are officially live Monday morning. This is episode 371 of Extreme Health Radio, and today's date is Monday, April 6th, 2015, and we're so excited to have Chef Lance Roll in the studio. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be here, Justin.
I feel like, are you going to introduce the show first? Because I feel like I'm sitting in the midst of like a rock star because of how much we love his product.
I'm so excited.
This is fabulous.
So if you guys would like to support the show, lots of different ways to do that, but a really great way to do that is a new service we have called Patreon, and you can actually support us on a per podcast basis. So if you want to donate $1, $2, $5, whatever you like per podcast, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/support, and that will help keep the show free. All of our shows, all 371 shows, are free. Another great way to support us is through Amazon. If you guys would like to do that, you can bookmark our link there and make any purchases. It doesn't have to be health related, and you can support us that way, and that would be a great thing to do. That's extremehealthradio.com/Amazon, and we typically broadcast every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, but this is a special show with Chef Lance Roll.
Best way to spend a Monday morning.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. So typically our shows are every Friday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific at extremehealthradio.com/live. And we're just so excited to have Chef Lance Roll in the studio, in the house. Where this is so cool. You were you came up from Encinitas or Carlsbad?
Yeah, we're located in Carlsbad personally for the last 14 years. So
you know what was so cool is we were looking into bone broth a few years ago, and we would watched. I think we found your videos with Sean Croxton, and then we saw your stuff with the Wellness Mama, and we saw your videos with Sean Croxton, and we found out that you sell your broth in a store that's about 2 miles away from us, because we're going to come down and get it from you somehow.
Yeah, we were doing a search of what areas, and it said San Diego County, and then we barely made this cutoff of like Orange County. We were like the last store we found before you cross over.
Oh, yeah, right. We just started in Hanson's in both locations, and then they're going to have a new location in San Diego as well. And
really?
We're looking to expand retail as well. We've got about 17 locations altogether.
Okay.
And our biggest locations are the Jimbo's Naturally stores in San Diego, all 5 of them.
Oh, okay.
And we have a couple other great stores down there, Cream of the Crop.
Do you have locations in other parts of the country or just in Southern California? You
know, truthfully, we do. We have, what we've done is actually have a program for some of the wellness practitioners around the country, and we'll literally ship to them for the wholesale cost, and so they can resell it to their customers. So we have people like Dr. Tom Cowan from the Weston A. Price Foundation, who's a naturopath up in San Francisco. Lindsay Burns is another naturopath. She's in Long Beach area. And a couple others as well. My sister's out there, Rye, New York. When we get our new packaging, she's going to start selling it in Rye, New York.
That's awesome.
A couple stores there. And we just were introduced to Erewhon in L.A., so we're looking to get our first L.A. store.
That's a big store, isn't it?
L.A. is Erewhon has 2 locations, and we're hoping to get into their amazing tonic cafe with our bone broth bucket cup.
Yeah. You know what there should be? There should be these people being able to purchase bone broth by the cup in places like coffee houses. Wouldn't that be awesome?
You know what? It's already happening.
Is it happening?
Justin, yeah, Kate. This is really a big thing. We actually are selling. It came about this winter. Of course, there was the broth movement of 2015, and in January January, when all the New Year's stuff came out, it became an official trend on Yahoo and everywhere else. Vogue magazine, the trend of bone broth trend. It's the new superfood. It's going to replace. I don't think it's going to replace juicing, that's for sure, but it's definitely being an additional thing. And it is amazing because for me especially, and for the kind of background we have, been making and dreaming of bone broth since 2007, and finally brought it to market in 2011 actually. Oh, really? And so we've been selling retail since 2011, 2012. What you mentioned with Sean Croxton was what helped us get launched into the main food blogger world. Yeah. Natural, real food blogger world, I should say. And right now, that was in October of 2012. We did a similar podcast with Sean, and man, I tell you, we had so many calls. Where do I get your broth? How do we get your broth? I live in Louisiana. Can I get your broth? It's like, so we went to work real hard, and in January of 2013, we launched the Brothery. So we have bonebroth.com, the Brothery at bonebroth.com, and again, nicely enough too, it fell right into the Brothery came about even prior to that, where Sally Fallon Morell in her article, Broth is Beautiful, way back in 2001 or 2, beginning of the Weston A. Price Foundation, talking about all the great things that bone broth has to offer. And she stated in the middle of that article that there ought to be a brothel in every town. Nice. So we didn't think
she's my hero.
We didn't think the brothel was going to go over too well, so we took out the Brothery.
The brothel.com, I don't think it would be.
The brothel.com.
I don't think I want to look that up right now.
Probably already used too. So somebody's probably got it. But anyway, so we literally, by going online at that point, and of course that's in 2012, late 2012, early 2013, we really had a vision to put a brothery in every town. And by doing that, we did. And we've shipped now successfully for two plus years, and we shipped to every corner of the country, as I like to say. Somewhere in America, someone's drinking the Flavor Chef's genuine, certified organic chicken bone broth. So,
well, we have folks in the chat room that are actually just finished their bone broth as well, and they're rejoicing about this episode. Well, so got some fans.
What's great is I particularly like the bone broth in the morning because we've been doing sort of a more Ayurvedic kind of a diet, or kind of going that route for a while, and I was doing cold smoothies and things like that, and I believe I'm a Vata body type, and so my body seems to like warming foods and soups and things like that. And I did the whole raw vegan thing for years. I did that for 6 years or 7 years, and but I just find that when I do broth in the morning on an empty stomach, warm bone broth, even in the summertime, it's just like it feels like it's just so super healing. It's amazing.
It is really, and what's happening too when you have that empty stomach, you're basically taking all that collagen and gelatin that's in the bone broth and coating your system. Getting it prepared to receive nutrients. At the bonebroth.com, we quoted this a few years ago. You are what you eat, but more importantly, you are what you absorb. And bone broth itself is a synergistic type of drink, basically. I mean, it's a soup. I call it it's the new superfood. SOUPER. Yeah. And soup's been around forever, obviously, and people love soup. And it really was. People ask me, "Hey, how's your soup doing?" So my soup's doing great. It really is awesome. And getting back to the morning, morning and night as well, because you get that last bit too that can you can do 4 or 5 ounces and just sort of get that nice coating going. You got a abundance of amino acid profiles going in there that are helping with lots of other things. And again, you're just setting yourself up to absorb all those real food nutrients that you're taking into your body.
Yeah, super, super healing. And you're a big fan because you even did a cleanse, right, Kate?
Yeah, I have to say, I had done juice fasting for a lot of particular health issues I've been having lately. And for some reason, me and the juice, I needed something else to kind of get me through an extended fast. And so I'm sure people have done this for years, but I made up my own idea of fasting with rotating the bone broth in with the juices throughout the day. And I made it 10 days. And honestly, it was incredible how it just kept me more sustained, and it just felt so healing. Sometimes I love green juices more than anybody, but sometimes during cleansing, you can almost feel like a little too much roughage. I mean, I know it's not in there, but it just is a little harsh sometimes. The bone broth felt like it was like this big hug to my intestines.
Well, again, I think that's what the bone broth can bring in. It's got the collagen and gelatin that's coming out, and really, again, just to define it, collagen is what you're really getting in there. Gelatin is what you see that's jiggling around, and collagen, of course, is making huge. I mean, you just go to any skincare type stuff, and everything's about collagen.
Collagen.
And there are some very good collagens out there. One thing, again, with we would talk about real food. We're talking about something that your body, again, from my beautiful mentor Paul Chek, he boils it down to the cellular level, molecular level. It's like, what does your body actually recognize when you put it in there? And he'll talk about synthetic things and synthetic answers and artificial things, and that's exactly what it is. Your body just goes, what? I mean, I don't know you.
What is this?
Yeah, I don't know you. I'm not going to do anything with you. You start putting food in your body, and your body's like,
it recognizes it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just ask how this journey started for you? I mean, you're a classically trained chef.
Absolutely.
How did this bone broth come about? I think people would want to know the nutshell version.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Yes. I'm always curious. People need to know who we are going into this conversation.
Yeah.
And what drew you to it.
Sure. I was gifted, first of all, again, just go real quick through my career. 1988, I became a cook and a chef in a restaurant in East Hampton, Long Island. And I was very fortunate, actually. Couple things growing up. I grew up in a garden. My mom always had a garden, very European. She never made broth for us, but we did have whole food meals, pot roast and potatoes and green beans and things like that. And I was very fortunate to have that in my life. My dad was always handy around the grill, so in the summer we would barbecue and get watermelons and corn from the local corn people, and on corn people, I just call them farmers.
I was going to laugh. I didn't know if that was appropriate.
From the local farmers, growing food.
Corn people's okay.
Corn people.
Cornpeople.com.
Corn people. So, that all got my, things going. I went to college and was always cooking. Truth be told, I was, since you wanted to know, I was following the Grateful Dead at the time for a long time, still big fan.
Yeah.
And I was making hummus sandwiches literally to get from show to show to show. And I had people coming up in the parking lot going, "Oh my God, you have the best hummus on tour." Things like that, And I was like, okay. And I would just, do what I did. And of course, that was during 4 years of college, and it was a lot of fun. And at the same time, too, I was cooking for my friends all the time. When we moved off campus, I was always the cook. When we had Thanksgiving dinner, I would cook the dinner. And never thought about it professionally at that point. But a couple of years afterwards, 1988, I decided this is what I need to do. I read a book called What Color's Your Parachute?
Oh, right.
And it said, you're a chef. That's what you need to do. That's what it came down to.
Really?
And so I went in there. I had God-given ability. Again, I will not mince words on that one.
Yeah.
I've been, everyone is divinely gifted with certain things. They have talents. I used to tell people, I actually care to think that I can sing, but not really. Dance, my wife doesn't really call it dancing. My son thinks it's dancing. But
I'd love to see and hear this dancing and singing
usually
at the
it's
commercial.
Grateful Dead noodles, what they call it. But, I do exercise with it. But, but those things weren't part of what I could do. I definitely can't draw. My handwriting's terrible, but I could cook. I did flavors. I got into a beautiful restaurant with Chef Mark Strausman, who's still at the top of his game here at Fred's at Beverly Hills and in New York City. And this guy just took all my intuitive abilities and trained me on everything. We made broth, stocks. At that point in time, of course, not knowing anything about the benefit of them. And we were in a Tuscan restaurant. I was butchering live halibuts, not live, but they were halibuts coming off the ocean, whole animals. So I got really trained up. I became a chef within 2 years of the first takeout restaurant called Piccola Cucina.
Oh, okay.
It was a little gourmet takeout on the East End of Long Island. Oh, okay. And then from there, I came to California in 1990. I just started keeping my career going. I spent about 8 years in the middle of 95 to 2003 at a big conference center, Marietta. Just cooking and earned my CEC right after that. Was certified executive chef ACF in 2004. I was teaching culinary at San Diego Culinary Institute in La Mesa.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah.
And so I did that for 3 years. And that around 2007, I was early 2007. I was released from that and started my own business.
Nice.
So at that point in time, I just met Paul Chek in 2006, and the Chek Institute and Whole Foods. Sally Fallon's book was on the table, Nourishing Traditions, and so I grabbed a copy of that, and he said, "This is what we want to feed our people when you get here." So started cooking for them, and at that point, it was one of the students from one of my classes at SDCI. When you look back and you see the trail of things, it's always interesting. He's still with me today, Darren Honda, my good brother, and he's introduced me to Paul Chek and started cooking for these retreats. So around November 11th of 2007, I got my notes, 11/11/07, which are really powerful numbers for me.
Yeah.
And I got a download from God, literally. I know I was in the parking lot at Cardiff Seaside Market, and I called my buddy Mike. I said, "Hey, Mike, I got this information. I got to bring this product to market."
What
Bone
happened?
broth.
What was the?
We're so fascinated by these downloads. What did that?
Literally, I just tell people I was in an open, intuitive receiving. Paul Chek had taught me how to be more meditative and be more intuitive and listening to God. Basically, is what it came down to. And some people might call it their inner still voice or just a strong intuition.
But this is what you just had to do.
This is what I had to do. I knew it right from there. I wrote it down. I went home. I took the notes, and I started developing the product. I was feeding it to the retreats. We'd have these HLC1, HLC2, HLC3 conferences coming to town, and I would feed the groups of people when they were there through my catering.
Point, did you know all the healing benefits of it, or was it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was too. I had read, like I said, "Broth is Beautiful" by Sally Fallon, the Weston A. Price Foundation, and from that. Really, that was all the inspiration I needed, and the information in her book, Nourishing Traditions. And when you read that information and you're just looking at this product, and again, I was divinely commissioned to do this. Yeah. So by about 2011, I had finally, in 2008, 2009, I took out trademarks. I had my 3 trademarks, the Flavor Chef. My second one, Love is the Ultimate Spice. And my third one, Broth is Good for You, promotes a healthier you. Oh, wow. And that one is branded with a little bit of a smiley face.
Okay, yeah.
And the little yellow dot there. And that's all energetic stuff my dad had taught me actually about 1981, 82 about biokinesiology with energetics. And I remember he had showed me a upside down, a sad face, pushed my arm down.
Oh, really?
Showed me a smiley face, and my arm was solid, with the muscle testing. So I decided to put a little energetic love in there, and Love is the Ultimate Spice, of course, is just another beautiful trademark, I believed, and came to fruition. So
you have that on your label as well, don't you?
I do, of course.
I think that was so neat. The minute I first read that, I laughed out loud when I was in Hampton. It's like, this guy is so cool.
I mean, at
it's
that
important.
Point, it is. And I had gone through a huge transition in 2006. And love became really important to me, and I understood more food energetically. And you even studying Ayurveda, about that as well, and the energetic necessity of the food, and what you put into the food. And literally, we talked about people. I love teaching people how to cook food, and I hope to do more of that in the future. I've been doing. I will do that more in the future. But the teaching level part of it is, because people put their own energy in the food. When you put your own energy and love into the food, you're going to get a lot more out of that same food that you're eating.
Mom's home cooking always tastes best.
No, it's true. Yeah, absolutely.
And people always ask me, how do you do when you go to other... I love people when they cook for me, man. When they make delicious food, it's just...
Even they make the same thing that you always make. It
tastes different.
Yeah, it does. It's
the love.
My wife's actually been cooking a lot lately. She's been coming back in. We have a 5-year-old son, and he's eating all this beautiful food, and she's making delicious food, so it's awesome. And I think, so just historically speaking again, so 2011 I started Retails. 2012 I actually had a meeting with a couple people from Whole Foods, and even though we're not in Whole Foods yet,
you will be
someday. But he led me to a CDPH license, which is at California Department of Public Health. Okay. So we went real legit. We got our food production license from them, and we got our kitchen certified. We installed our first kettle. went in progression from 40 quart pots to 100 quart pot to our first kettle. And like I said, then we introduced our to Jimbo's. And last year at Jimbo's, we were the number one selling frozen item in all of Jimbo's markets. So they're pretty big freezer section, but we were number one, which is pretty amazing.
That's amazing.
We grew our sales triple last year in the retail realm as well as online.
It's interesting in today's world. I mean, with a product like bone broth and a lot of superfoods and things like that, there does come some education that needs to happen. People need to know why, what's so great about these things, and why are they so good for you. And it's so cool to see bone broth becoming something that people are consuming on a regular basis. I think a lot of people are waking up to realize how important bone broth is, and especially for people who've been vaccinated, it's really important.
Yeah, well, it has a lot of, like I said, the amino acid profile has a lot of detoxification qualities. The collagen, the gelatin, and our bone broth, we had it lab tested recently, has 10 grams of protein per serving. So the label is going to change as well when we do the label change. And of course, we also had it certified organic as well.
Oh, really? Wow,
and again,
that's hard to get.
Yeah, well, we it isn't hard when you already are.
Yeah, I know.
We actually went certified organic in October of 2012 when we were on Sean's show.
Okay.
We were just kind of experimenting at that point with different types of things. We were using Mary's Chicken. We just went organic on everything. And I already had an organic catering business. So when it comes to, being part of the superfood movement right now, and there's always these superfoods every year, kale 1 year, chia seeds, and these are all still amazing things that are good for you. It's part of a real food protocol.
Yeah.
It's part of a protocol is what it comes down to. And, we find that most people that are buying our bone broth and consuming bone broth are people that are just looking to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not selling them bone broth. We're selling them health. We're selling the part to be part of their lifestyle, and you guys are part of it as well. You say, hey, where can we get some of this product? And of course, historically, again, 5,000 years of Chinese medicine, and the idea of simmering bones. I once met a doctor, probably around 2012. And I was teaching this class, and he came up to me after. He said, I just want you to know that cultures that drink bone are cultures that have longevity. And he had been in the Caribbean culture. He was Caribbean, and he was from the Caribbean culture. In our culture, the tribes and people that drink and consume broths on a regular basis, bone broths, simmered from, and mostly Caribbean fish.
Okay.
And which, again, South American proverb in the nourishing traditions that fish broth can raise the dead, something to that effect, like there. It's a South American proverb. But again, sometimes you'll see things, and people always want these, scientific studies, which there are now available, and there have been in the past. But yeah, we are the scientific study. I mean, how do you feel? We had testimonies on testimonies of people that incorporate bone broth into their life, and even in the most recent book on broth, Nourishing Broth with Kayla Daniel, you read through the testimonies in that book, and all of them, none of them actually isolate bone broth. They say, well, I went on this Ayurvedic diet, and I really found out what my body type was like. And I started drinking bone broth, and then I got healthy. It always becomes part of your regimen. So
yeah, it's a big man. We're just in love with your bone broth, and we're gonna take a little bit of a break right now. What's the best website if people are interested? Because I know you said you have a few. Where should we send people?
Yeah, right now the best website is thebrothery.com.
Thebrothery.com. Okay. Awesome. So thebrothery.com, and people can go on there and make purchases, and you can ship anywhere. Yeah,
and today we're giving out Extreme 10.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Extreme 10. So you get a 10% off for entering Extreme 10 if you order. We're going to give a 30-day on that. So by the end of beginning of May, you'll have that coupon code available to you.
That's awesome. Extreme 10, 10%.
10% off.
Nice. Well, we're just huge fans, so we're going to talk, maybe when we come back from the break, we should talk about how to make bone broth.
I would also like to clarify for people the difference between stock and broth, because I don't know how to answer this question. I get this email a bunch when I do my juice and bone broth fasting, and I've been told and kind of slapped on the wrist a couple times saying that's broth, not stock, or vice versa. I'm like, really? So maybe we could talk about this a little bit.
We'll clarify for you.
Okay, thank you. I knew you could help me, Lance.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're with Chef Lance roll. We'll be right back right after this break.
I wanted to tell you about this really powerful and unique product called the Q Laser. Did you know there's over 2,500 peer-reviewed clinical research studies showing the benefits of low-level laser therapy on the body? We had Dr. Larry Lytle on episode 165 talking all about it. Dr. Lytle, what is the Q Laser?
The Q Laser is a light-delivering device, handheld, rechargeable, that is for lay people and professionals, that works at the cell level of the body to restore energy. Since the body is all composed of cells and the cells are composed of atoms, it's good for any and everything in the body. It is especially beneficial for injuries. It will reduce swelling and inflammation before your eyes. Literally, you can have a sprained ankle and apply the laser, and within 30 minutes you can see that the swelling in the ankle has been reduced. Since all disease is inflammatory, you can assume that same process is working if you have some type of intestinal problem. We have pictures of using a heat instrument to diagnose the intestinal inflammation. We can show that intestinal inflammation is pretty much gone within 3 minutes using the Q1000 laser. It's the number one tool in your medicine cabinet. I have a saying, never leave home without your laser. I have had 3 serious burns, and each time I had my laser with me, I applied the laser immediately after I had the burn. I never even blistered.
Kate and I don't want to be without ours. We've worked out a special deal with Dr. Lytle for all of our listeners. If you'd like to learn more about how the Q Laser can dramatically improve your health, go to extremehealthradio.com/laser. So a few years ago when I was working for this company, it was a really small company, and I had been wanting a Vitamix blender for years and years and years, but they're so expensive, and I just hadn't saved the money at that time to get one. And so as a Christmas bonus, they knew that I loved the Vitamix, so they got me a Vitamix, the 5000 blender. And that thing is so incredible. It was right at the beginning of my raw food journey, and I was using it about 3 times a day, really. Today, I still use it about twice a day to make blended smoothies and things like that. But the Vitamix blender is really, really great. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, that will redirect you over to there, and then you'll be able to purchase that, and we'll get a commission for your order. And you'll also get free shipping, too, so that'll be great for you if you're interested in saving about $25 on the shipping. And with the Vitamix, you can make sauces and dips and bread. You could make ice cream with it. I've done a lot of ice cream. You can just make the most incredible things. And it's my favorite because it's got a tamper on it. And you can put ice and frozen berries and avocado and some honey and things like that, and with no water at all, and you have that tamper, and you can make the most amazing ice creams with it. So the Vitamix is my favorite blender of choice, and if you're in the market to buy one, I would greatly encourage you to do so if you have the money for it. And if you do it through us, through extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, I'll get a little commission for it, and you'll get free shipping. So it works out for you and for us too. So if you're in the market, please do it through us. That'd be really cool. And you're going to love this thing when you get it. You're going to fall in love with it. You'll never go back to a regular blender again. So check that out, extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, and I hope you enjoy it.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
We're having a great time here with Chef Lance Roll, our favorite new friend from Carlsbad, San Diego, from thebroth.com. We're so excited to have him in here and talk about this awesome product of his. I've just been a huge fan of bone broth for a lot of years. And, you know, you talked a few minutes ago about that article from Sally Fallon, and it was called Broth is Beautiful? Is that what it's called?
Correct.
Is that still available on
Absolutely.
their website? Yeah?
If you search Broth is Beautiful, you'll be taken right to it.
You'll find it. Okay,
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, so that sort of lays out. Was that sort of the first thing? You said she wrote that around 2001. Was that sort of the first thing to bring public awareness to this?
I mean, through the Weston A. Price Foundation, it started around 2001. I'm pretty sure it was like in the first couple articles. I might be wrong on the exact year it was released, but I know for sure that they've been around for that long. I think we're going to be we've been at the conferences for the last 2 years as the Brothery. Okay. And, the public awareness is just... It was really under the radar, even with that out there. I mean, if you weren't in a real food movement or part of a Asian culture, you didn't really get bone broth. I mean, bone broth was in the 30s when after World War I, and they didn't know what to do. I was just reading about this online too. It's like basically they just stuffed traditional food. And, when processed food began. I mean, even Paul Check, my mentor, was talking about that, how we really want to get away from processed food. And the processed food movement just took hold in the 50s and MSG, and they replaced all broth with this savory thing called monosodium glutamate. And people thought it was giving them something, similar for less money or whatever, convenience.
What's the deal with that? I know people that aren't familiar with the real food movement like we are and things like that. If they go to a store, I mean, we see it all the time in different stores. There's broth there that's it's like in those cardboard boxes. The little.
Absolutely.
What's the deal with that stuff? I mean, I know this. Like,
and is it stock or is it broth?
We'll get into
answer that
this
a
whole
later.
thing. I know.
What's the deal? I'll give you the difference. The difference is there's a shelf life of about 3 to 4 years on those boxes.
On those ones.
And I mean, I'm not in their manufacturing plant to know exactly what they do, but from what I'm told, they place a bunch of these ingredients into a large type of vat. They heat them really quickly and really fast. They create basically a flavored liquid.
Okay.
I mean, if you've tasted them, which I hope you haven't, if you have,
as a kid and all that,
huge sodium contents, almost no nutritive value, but they do add flavor to your product. And of course, many of them, if they're not organic, they're made with chemicals. They're made with MSG and things like
Bad
that.
Water
like those little cubes, bouillon cubes and stuff.
Gosh.
I mean, that stuff's just been convenience food. What we have here is what we're calling our traditional simmered broth.
Okay.
It's again, according to the formula, ours is simmered for 18 hours.
Okay.
A lot of people claim 24, 48. Research and development, 2007, 2011, even to today. I really even last night, truthfully, we found another way to make our broth a little bit better.
Really?
We really did.
Can you reveal that, or is that part of the? You can't.
I can reveal it for all you broth makers.
He
out
puts
there.
a little more love, even more than you thought you had.
Well, we did actually. We put a little stainless steel 400 pan on top of the bones.
Okay.
So the bones can simmer because they're simmering overnight in a kettle, and we keep just a little tiny lip open to let some of the steam out.
Okay.
We get about a 1-inch reduction on 40 gallons a night, which means the broth is simmering at a very slow rate. It's very important to not develop too many of these glutamates that could be developed in fast cooked broth. And that's why, again, some people mention, I don't want to get off track, but some people mention pressure cooker. I don't do pressure cooker.
But some people do, you said 24 hours?
Yeah, they do 24 hours, different hours, and we just found that 18 was sufficient.
Okay.
And it works economically as well. And what we did was we just improved it a little bit. We pushed the bones down under the water. We feel like we're going to get a little more extraction because some of the bones are on top overnight. We can't be there all night stirring it. We do come in the morning, stir it about 3 hours before we leave. We stir it right when we're done to get all the nutrients out of the bones and into our product. And when we're done, we have a pile of mush. Basically, we have this soft bones and cartilage that's all been released. All the carrots, celery, onions, garlic, ginger, lemons are all just completely almost disintegrated, and all the liquid's been extracted. We filter it 3 times, once out of the kettle, twice into the cooling bins, and then we cool it to 70 degrees or less before we pack it. And then it gets frozen instantly.
To 70 degrees or less.
Mainly because of the heat idea and the fact that we only really have this vehicle for processing and packing in plastic.
Okay.
So glass is just way too bulky, way too much weight. It just wouldn't be economical. On a small level at home, we would suggest, hey, just put it in glass containers. When I defrost my own broth, I defrost the whole container in a pot, heat it up, drink some broth, put it in a glass container for the rest of the time of its life.
Okay.
One great thing about our product is we don't have a lot on hand. We keep selling out, so we're selling about 11 to 1,200 containers a week right now.
Oh my goodness!
Between the brothery and our local shipments.
Wow.
And so our broth is never very old, which is good too, because we don't want it to sit around in the freezer too long. But yeah, back to the boxes. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
The boxes again. They're just. I used to always tell people, just take one of our broths or take a homemade broth you made and pour it next to one of these other broths. It just pours out of the container and taste it. I mean, even I've been getting a lot of questions about Pacific bone broth because they came out with their bone broth. Mm-hmm. Their bone broth is $5.49 for 32 ounces at a retail level. And I'll just say one thing, not saying anything bad or negative.
Yeah.
Test it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Get one of mine or get a real bone broth from one of these other companies selling bone broth and pour it next to each. Heat them up, drink them, and then let them cool.
Okay.
And you'll see in mine when it cools. You guys have seen it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of gelatin in there.
Yeah.
When that one cools, it'll look just like it came out of the container.
So what temperature do you guys cook for 18 hours? What's the temperature?
Good question.
Exact temperature is probably around 202 to 204.
Okay.
Somewhere in that range. It's a very low simmer.
Okay.
We have to keep it up that high to do the extraction.
Okay.
But it definitely, after the process is we're going to bring the bones up. We put the bones cold into the kettle.
Okay.
Just like a traditional stock, you would, put the bones into a kettle or a pot. You put cold water over them. One of the differences with our product for sure is the addition of apple cider vinegar, and again inspired by Sally Fallon and the idea that the apple cider vinegar helps to draw minerals out of the bones and vegetables. And then
we do that.
We bring it up cold.
We do.
We do a first skim. So as soon as the water boils, we take the first skim off, which is the scum that comes up to the top, and then we add our vegetables. And at that point, we don't skim much but the fat from the top of the broth. And then we fill it up with the rest of the water. We bring it up to a quick boil for a second or two, and we cool it down with water to a perfect simmer. Again, we've got our system down.
It's a whole science now.
Yeah, it's pretty much science at this point.
Like,
we can pretty much make sure every batch is perfect. We went through a lot of trials and tribulations with different temperatures, and sometimes the broth would over-reduce or not reduce enough. So, like I said, we got it pretty much down at this point after a few years. So, but you're cooking at home, same process. Our process includes carrots, celery, onions, garlic, ginger, small amounts, peppercorns.
Do they all have that, or are there some that are just the bones?
There's people out there making it with just bones and vinegar. I don't find the flavor that good, being the flavor chef.
Yeah, it's flavors.
One thing we do get for sure is we've had a lot of people tell us that your broth is delicious.
Yeah.
And on its own, stand-up product. We don't add any sodium to our broth, so there's no sea salt in our product. Okay. And again, we were kind of inspired in the beginning, have that little container of real salt or Himalayan sea salt or Celtic sea salt next to where you should have it anyway.
Flavor themselves.
Put a little pop in and flavor it yourself. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And when you do taste our product, I do recommend that, because if you don't put just the right amount of salt in there, it will taste a little flat.
Yeah.
But still good, but flat.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What's the deal with using high quality water? Does this? We've had a lot of guests on the show talk about the importance of water and how you just don't want to be ideally filling your tap water to make this broth.
Yeah.
What is it taking away, because your standard's pretty high about what you put in your broth?
Absolutely. We're using a deep well water from Pure Flow. It's just a drinking water. All the well waters. We were originally using Carlsbad mineral water. Any kind of spring water. We may go to a spring water if we can get the right deal on the spring water, but essentially they're all been cleaned anyway. Meaning they go through these filters to make sure that there's no funky stuff in there.
Right.
You just want to take the fluoride out, and you don't want to just have the stuff from the municipal tap in there.
Yeah.
So if you're making your own bone broth, at the very least, go buy an Arrowhead or one of these bigger containers of water to make your product. Hopefully you have filtered water at home. Again, if you're part of this lifestyle, most likely you're already drinking bottled water. And we mainly use, we use 5-gallon buckets at this point, but we're looking at some different systems for as we expand to get our water fresh and clean. And we will probably continue to use like at San Diego, we have Pure Flow or Palomar Mountain Spring Water.
Okay.
So
So if people are interested in doing this as a more medicinal thing, and they wanted to do it every day, they're not necessarily into soups and things. If they were to drink an ounce or two every morning on their stomach, that would be something people could do medicinally, right?
Yeah, I think medicinally, I always tell everyone, again, not being a doctor or naturopath myself, that just follow your clinician. I don't know what everyone's immune system's doing. I don't know what their bodies are doing. I find that 4 to 6 ounces is probably a better portion, because it's a cup of soup. You're going to heat it up and drink it. True. And it is going to add to your overall calorie intake, protein intake, minerals, all the things you're doing. So use it as I've had people tell me they've lost weight with bone broth because it satiates them.
Yeah.
And they don't feel like they need to eat much more than that. Of course, we don't. Like I said, everyone's individual, and so it's really hard to say, how much you should drink or not drink. But yeah, we like the morning and evening. We have diets out there like our GAPS diet, gut and psychology syndrome, developed by Natasha Campbell McBride in England, and she's got hundreds and hundreds of people that's they're immune compromised because of their dysfunctional gut, essentially. And
broth is a big part of her protocol.
Absolutely. Broth is a big part of their protocol. And, when it comes to, we have a second product that we are going to bring to market as well. It's on our website. It's called the 2-hour chicken meat stock. And the 2-hour chicken meat stock is a product that is designed for the phase 1 protocol for the person who's severely compromised in their gut. And it's been, again, using a nutritional counselor, nutritional therapist, naturopath, a chiropractor, whoever's guiding their nutrition, and they say, hey, you really probably should go in this protocol to help jumpstart the rest of what you're doing.
Right.
And there's a whole diet that goes along with foods and minerals and supplements and things like that. But part of it is this broth. The 2-hour product has less glutamates in it.
What does that mean?
And less amino acids.
Okay.
Because it doesn't simmer as long. So we've actually done again, if you look in Nourishing Broth by Kayla Daniel and Sally Fallon, which is the newest book, September 30th, it came out in 2014. Okay. You'll see a mineral profile in there that shows the difference between the two, and those were my broths actually in the book.
Oh, really?
That were used for that.
Wow.
We had those analyzed by Covance, like I said, a laboratory talking about the getting the mineral amino acid profiles done, and the meat stock was much less. But again, at that point, your gut is can't handle that much of the broth. The second phase, they go to the real broth, the 18-hour longer cooking broths.
So the 2-hour, it's called a 2-hour broth?
2-hour chicken meat stock.
Chicken meat stock.
2-hour chicken meat stock.
Okay, you wanted to know the difference between stock, right?
Yeah. Can we ask that now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Again, our 2-hour chicken meat stock is a traditional sipping broth.
Okay.
So that's going to be different than a stock. A stock, from a chef's perspective, and this is what I used to make in 1988, a bunch of bones, whether it be chicken, lamb, veal, even fish.
Anything, right?
Pretty much anything. We would duck.
Except human.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't be good.
That would not be good.
Different flavor.
I don't know where that came from. We never did any of that. I've only seen that in the movies.
I know.
Yeah, that's no good.
But yeah, with those different animals might be in there. And what you're trying to create is a basic for your sauce, for your demi-glace, for your chicken soup, for your soup on the menu, the chicken broth for the soup, and even vegetable stock. A bunch of scraps of vegetables. Essentially, it's a less cared for product in a sense. Like we would put anything in there.
Okay.
To an extent.
Right.
You get a bunch of shrimp shells. Throw shrimp into a pot with some water, and now we have a shrimp stock for our shrimp dishes.
Okay.
So with traditional sipping broth, there's your difference. You're creating a product that you want to drink as a soup. So you're going to take a lot more care to procure your vegetables, procure your bones, add the right amount of liquid. Those stocks were often liquidy because you just wanted to create a volume.
Okay.
And then a lot of times we took those stocks and we created what they call demi. And demi is where it means half. Okay. So we literally just take them and boil them until they were half the size that they were. Then they become nice and gelatinous. And they would use that in your finer preparations for, say, a beef dish that would use what we call a pan sauce. And you'd put a little, you'd saute the beef or chicken or whatever, and then you'd pull the piece of meat out, put in your demi. It would melt. You'd finish it with butter, pour it over the dish, and send it out to the customer. So it's pretty good. I mean, I cooked
watering over here.
Fresh restaurants, so it was pretty much the way we did things there. So those wouldn't necessarily be something you would drink.
Okay.
Whereas the broths coming out today are traditional sipping broths, and meaning you're gonna broth is gonna be something you're gonna eat. Also, the other classical definition of broth versus stock is broth does contain meat, where stocks would mostly be pure bone. So our chicken backs that we use are very meaty, and our feet are very meaty, and that all comes into the broth and gives it a much more robust flavor, good mouthfeel, whereas a stock would be somewhat on the less flavorful side.
Interesting.
And also, a lot of broths you do consume broth. A big difference would be adding salt to them.
Okay.
And a lot of people put salt in their broth, and it's recommended in the recipes to use salt in the broth. And we don't use any for medical reasons for some of our people that can't eat. Which is letting you add your own salt. Salt is
That's a giant consideration. When I first found that out, I thought, a lot of people do have some salt issues, challenges.
And, it allows people to put the salt they use in
Absolutely.
their product and the amount that they want. So that's just one thing we did. So that will be another difference.
Okay.
We met
this is good.
A doctor out in Texas when we were out there, and she was doing some work with the GAPS diet and sort of doing a lot of experimentation with a lot of her clients and things. And she was making broths and all this stuff, and then she told me that she would, I'm sure you've heard of this, but she would take the bones, and after I think a few days, I don't know how long it took her to make the broth, but she would grind up the bones into a pate. Have you ever seen that?
I actually haven't seen that. I mean, if their bones were soft enough, I guess you could. But
she would put them. She would
we
boil
talk
them.
about maybe making pet food out of it.
Right.
Figuring out a way to get that that product to be used all the way. But no, I haven't heard. I mean,
she gave me some.
It
was
melted, didn't it?
Yeah, because the bones were really soft and they'd been going for a couple of days, and then she put it into her Blendtec blender with some other carrots and garlic and things and salt, and it made this pate that was just incredible. I tried it, and I was just like, that's amazing.
I guess if they got soft enough, you could. But again,
product number 3.
I know, right?
It could be. I mean, I particularly care for my liver pate myself. But yeah, so, I mean, again, we might be able to create that into dog food or not, or pet food or some kind.
There's something so healing about the bones of these animals, isn't there? It's just
that's again, it goes all the way back to 5,000 years Chinese medicine. When they focus, and the basic principle is, not being an expert in it, is if you eat something that's for a particular part of your body, they're talking about also eyes and things like that to create better eyes, and different glands you can eat to help strengthen those parts of your body. With the bones, of course, we're at the bones, ligaments, gelatin, all the connective tissue in your body is what we're helping you to create a better,
super powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question. So if people don't know a thing about bone broth, they're using obviously just regular old tap water, but say they're taking unorganic chickens, like just chickens pumped full hormones, dumping the bones in there, they're still getting basically a soup of problems, aren't they?
Yeah, sort of.
You think?
I mean, I think so. I think, again, when it comes to GMOs and it comes to organic food, that's pretty much where we're hoping everyone's going to draw the line, especially when you're going to extract everything out of that animal and into your body. So we're going to find, a lot of people that are, again, that might be a situation too, like, well, how do we make the broth versus buying your broth?
Right.
And I would say if you can source good bones and you can get a grass-fed beef or, your pasture-raised lamb, and again, the different bones definitely have different characteristics. Lamb broth is going to be a real gamey, very strong flavored product. So you get into things like your beef and your chicken, you really just want to stick on the organic level or above.
Interesting. Yeah, because there's people making broths. I want to talk a little bit about this after the break, but people making broths out of all kinds of fish and all kinds of crazy things.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Fish are so crazy.
Thebrothery.com. And what is the coupon code that you're going to be?
Extreme 10.
Thanks for doing that. That's
no worries.
So
That's
nice.
awesome.
Extreme 10%. I love it. Thebrothery.com. This is episode 371 with Chef Lance Roll. This is awesome stuff. We'll be right back right after this break.
Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The vet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food that's made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. If you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more.
Would you like to feel more energy and a better sense of well-being? What's flowing through your blood makes all the difference. In my 22 years of nutritional practice, I've found that the food and supplements taken into the body determines to a large degree the amount of energy and happiness people have. One giant step in the direction of more energy and happiness is the type and quantity of protein you consume. 2 years ago, I was introduced to a whey protein powder that gave me more energy and a better sense of well-being. Having struggled with low energy, this was a welcome experience. This protein is called One World Whey. It is the first ever undamaged whey protein powder from grass-fed cows. People report the following: profound improvements in blood sugar and energy, elimination of pain, better bowel movements, detoxification, younger-looking skin and fat loss. Athletes love the strength and endurance-producing effects. Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
And in my opinion, this is the best raw grass-fed protein powder on the market. It's developed on Amish farms. It's got 25 grams of protein in each single scoop. Crazy amount of protein. Increases your glutathione levels. It helps to release heavy metals and toxins, decreases inflammation all throughout the body, especially in the gut. And not only that, but it helps you build muscle and increase energy as well. It has tons of anti-aging properties. So really, really great protein powder. We like to use it every day in our smoothies. And our resident cancer guru, Ty Bollinger, what do you think about One World Whey?
Over the commercial there, you're talking about One World Whey. I want to encourage anybody that's listening, go to their website, go to Justin and Kate's website, and buy the One World Whey. That's something that we include every day in our diet. Every lunch, we have a One World Whey smoothie with super greens mixed in with it. It is fantastic. It's the best protein you're going to get. And as they mentioned, it's from grass-fed cows. It's organic. It's cold pressed. I mean, it is, you're going to get huge nutritive values from this One World Whey. It's the best protein on the market, I think. So then that's something that most people are deficient in is quality protein. So I highly recommend you go there and go to their website and buy this stuff. It's the best that's on the market. And I'm good friends with Stephen Hewer, who is the owner of Synergistic Nutrition. And he's a quality guy, and they have excellent customer service as well.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. We interviewed him on episode 88, and he's just an amazing guy, and I really love what he's doing. That's why I love supporting his work and love taking his products as well.
Yeah, great stuff.
And if you'd like to support Extreme Health Radio and the work that Kate and I do, you can get your hands on this One World Whey protein powder that I love so much at extremehealthradio.com/whey. That's WHEY. Or you could check it out in our store as well. That's extremehealthradio.com/whey.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
So, we've moved into the 21st century, Kate, and...
we have?
We have. Just barely.
What are we doing?
No, it's pretty cool. We have this thing, a new feature on our website. People can actually text. It's kind of cool. They can text. I don't even have a cell phone, but this is how it works. You text Get Healthy to 33444, and you can join our newsletter list and get all those bonuses that lady just spoke about.
Yes.
You don't even have to go to a website.
Look at you getting all fancy in 2015 over there.
Get Healthy to 33444.
33444. And speaking of numbers,
we
need to correct when we broke off from the last commercial. Extreme 10 for the coupon is the number 10, 10.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes. I just want to make sure nobody goes in there and punches in TEN.
Not case sensitive.
Yes.
Okay. Extreme 10.
Extreme 10. Lower
Extreme
upper
10.
Hey, what were you saying just during the break about the meat stocks?
Yeah, just saying our meat stock product, we actually add about 40 pounds of whole chicken, and we only simmer that for about 2 hours or a little less. That's where we get the 2 hour meat stock from.
Okay.
And it just has a delicious flavor. It doesn't have the garlic or ginger or lemon. It starts with the apple cider vinegar, has carrot, celery, onion, and we finish. We didn't talk about this either. We do finish with parsley.
Oh, really?
And at the last 15 minutes or so, we put fresh parsley in both the products.
Why is that for the last 15?
It's just something with the parsley is those type of herbs that just break down really quickly.
Okay.
So you only need to put them in there for a few minutes to get all the natural nutrients out of them and minerals and things that come from the parsley. So we drop them in at the end. It adds a nice bright flavor. I just want to say our meat stock is super delicious. It tastes like grandma's chicken soup versus, and again, it's a sipping broth. And, it'd be something that if somebody wanted to try it, they could always write in the comment section, I'd like 3 of the meat stock. And hopefully soon it's going to be in Hanson's as well. And we're working on the packaging for it. So
Nice. So. The parsley, parsley is very, very healing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great for the urinary tract and tons of great minerals.
Blood cleanser. We could juice it.
Yeah, people juice it.
Good properties.
Yeah.
We put a pretty good amount in there too.
Wow.
About a pound and a half.
And so you do that in all your products with the parsley?
Yeah, both the chicken stock and the genuine chicken bone broth and the meat stock.
So people, I think it's really important for people to learn, I think, working with food and like you were talking about, infusing that intention or whatever you want to call it, the love in your food.
Absolutely.
If people want to make, what's the simplest way people can make their own stock? Because this is what we did. We started making it and we loved it and just found all the benefits from it. But we don't know if we're making it correctly. We just kind of just did it. And so what we've been doing is slowly, I was talking before the show, is slowly sort of migrating to your stuff. And so we still make it, but it's like becoming less and less. Because, we make mistakes and we don't always have time and all this stuff. So it's great. You saw our fridge. It's filled with your stuff. So if someone wants to make it, what's the simplest way for them to make a good broth?
Yeah, again,
I know we kind of talked about it, but...
Simplest way, I mean, first of all, you can search the internet, find 100 different recipes for broth, and people have different ideas. I refer people to Nourishing Traditions or Nourishing Broth, which is the Bible on bone broth and broth in general right now. And I'll encourage people to go to Extreme Health Radio and /Amazon and buy the book through that.
Yeah.
And you guys can get a benefit. Of course, Kayla and Sally will sell another book, and it is in the New York Times bestseller for the category.
And they have all these recipes in there.
Yeah, all the recipes are in there. But again, to break it down for the audience here, I mean, it's bones, water, apple cider vinegar, a vegetable component, mostly just what we call mirepoix, which is carrot, celery, and onion. You could put some root vegetables in, some garlic, some ginger. I like to throw lemons in. You can throw your thyme in. I throw my thyme in a little earlier because it's just more robust. Or you can leave that for the end as well. And then
you let it simmer for how long?
Some peppercorns, and again, just bring it up to a boil. Usually, again, I in the process I like to cook the bones first, so I don't skim any of the vegetable out.
Okay.
And then, again, as long as you could take it, I mean, some of the comments from our clients are, we just don't like the smell, which I can't understand, but it simmers in your home overnight, and
it's beautiful.
people have said to me, or they might have another significant other who doesn't particularly care for the smell.
Yeah, not educated. They don't know about how great it is.
Yeah, or they just, so... Yeah, then you simmer it. People can use crock pots. They could use slow cookers, different things like that. The question will come up about pressure cookers. I'm just look it up. I don't know how to do it in a pressure cooker. I'm not a big fan. So, but that's just me.
So would they want to do it overnight?
Yeah, definitely want to do it overnight. I say most people, it's very safe, even on a gas stove. Just keep a little window open, cracked, and keep the temperature low enough so it has a low simmer. Keep it covered. I like to keep ours covered with a little lip open to just let a little of the steam out. That'll help kind of modify the temperature. Okay. You definitely want it at a low simmer. And remember, you can't make a mistake making broth.
That's actually good to know.
You really can't make a mistake. I mean, the big part of people don't like either is taking it down, meaning they're going to convert it now from the pot to coal, to drinking it, to refrigerating it, to storing it, all those different things. Yeah. So there's a big process to it, and that's what people don't enjoy. We have, like I said earlier before the show, the number one comment we get from our clients, and when we've done a couple of customer surveys, is we love broth, we make broth, but sometimes we're just so glad we don't have to.
Yeah, that's how
we have yours in the freezer. We know it's certified organic.
Yeah.
And that is big news, by the way. We are now certified organic.
That's
so the new packaging is coming out. We could talk a little bit about that, too, with our USDA sticker. And hopefully in Orange County, folks, we should be in Mother's Market with that sticker. They wanted to wait till we had...
So you guys aren't at Mother's yet?
Not yet. Going for all 7 stores in the next few weeks here. As soon as we get the packaging and the USDA label.
When's Whole Foods coming?
Next.
Whole Foods is going to be a little bit of a while. I think there are some issues I don't want to talk about on air with Whole Foods, but they are corporate. They are publicly traded, so their standards are really high. I'm following all the standards. There's a little bit of a misunderstanding, I think.
Yeah.
They want a USDA certified kitchen.
Okay.
And we are USDA certified organic. So, like I said, I'm looking into it.
Okay.
It's not the biggest bridge. Like right now, again, we go right there as well. One of the things we've been doing for the last 2 years is managing our growth.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is we only had one kettle, which is producing about 125 units a night.
Okay.
That's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
That gives us about 700. And we couldn't do 7 nights, really, 6 nights. So just do the math. It wasn't until November of this past year of 2014 that we finally installed our second kettle.
Okay.
And we have some expansion issues going on, and I'll announce it right here. We are going to be launching a Kickstarter. So with that Kickstarter project, we're going to be looking to invest in a new freezer, walk-in freezer. We're going to be looking to invest in a new kettle. We got to install our third kettle.
Oh, nice.
We've also just bought beef broth online. Our grass-fed beef bones are in, and we have a beef stock now. So we want to expand that line.
Is that product available yet or no?
It's available online. It is.
Really? So it's on the store and people can select it and all
people
that?
Can select beef broth right now in the meat stock. We're also working on we're going to start bringing some of our fat to the market as well.
Oh, really?
We have companies out there selling fat, so we're going to bring what we're calling our 2-hour chicken fat. We do a skim. We put the chicken broth up around 5. We're going to skim the fat at around 3. We're going to skim the fat around 5.
Okay.
We found the fat that cooks all the way through is very flavorful, like almost too dominant. So working on these projects, and the interesting thing is it all takes money.
Yeah,
We need a new 12 by 10 walk-in freezer, and we just in October we actually, like I said, we've been managing the growth, Justin. We haven't had one back order. We haven't missed a delivery to any of our stores. You just can't go add 7 or 10 stores without the infrastructure to support it.
Yeah.
Whole Foods is a whole. Again, that's
the whole thing. I mean,
they're going to take so much broth from us. They're going to take up 1 or 2 kettles a week. Just for Whole Foods.
Just for that,
so we have 2 right now. We're looking to add 3. Then it comes down to storage. Currently, right now, too, you want to know the difference between our broth and a box broth? We weighed them yesterday. We weighed them this week. It takes the feet of 8 chickens to make a pound of feet.
Okay.
we use 60 pounds of feed in each batch.
Oh my god.
So,
wow.
Yeah, actually, was it 6 2 4 6 8 10, something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember the
For
exact
a pound of broth.
My goodness.
For a pound. So we do that 10 times a week right now. We're going through almost, and we get our bones from Mary's organic chicken. Mary's or Better, which is a Whole Foods only chicken.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
they support all Whole Foods, West Coast Mary's, and it's a huge operation.
Nice.
They have humane treatments for their animals. You can go on Marys.com and look at the how they raise their animals.
Nice.
And we are
That's
organic and higher with our bone broth. So we're managing the growth. And we got some exciting things happening with we have this new package here. You can't see it. It's going to be a pouch.
Okay.
We've just hired a designer to do the packaging with the USDA label. And that's what we're going to introduce into the new stores, a 24-ounce size. But also for our online clients, we've got really exciting news. We're going to be introducing our 48-ounce packaging, which is a pouch as well. We again took money. We just bought a heat sealing machine for these. We're going to invest in some stickers for these as well for our marketing. And this package will be able to allow us to actually reduce the cost of the broth per client online, because they'll be able to get, say, 8 broth for where they're getting 6 for about the same price. Same thing with the 10-pack will become a 12-pack. The 15-pack will probably become a 16-pack or maybe 18-pack. And that will reduce the shipping costs as well, because the package won't be as big. We'll be able to pack it in a smaller box. FedEx,
people got to love that.
FedEx ground. And we'll be able to eliminate some of the packaging as well.
And so you just right now you ship with just dry ice and
ice packs and dry ice in a cooler box. So we're looking to change to a Mylar container, which is a liner. Again, much more impact environmentally, a better impact environmentally. And this bag, as you can see, which they can't see, is a lot thinner and a lot smaller. And the material itself is actually PET free and BPA free and all that stuff. So
because that's a real big concern for people.
It is.
Huge.
Like I said, that's where you guys mentioned about the 70 degrees earlier. Again, that's just the bone broth is pretty much cold at that point. And it takes a couple things: light, time, and heat to kind of draw things out of things.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So right now you have beef stock on the website as well, and then do you have the chicken fat you're talking about?
It's going up this week.
Yeah,
and we have the new website too, so that's probably going to go up in a week or so. We'll have beef tallow. We'll have beef marrow. We'll have our 2-hour chicken fat. And the 2-hour chicken fat is similar to schmaltz. Schmaltz is actually a product that's made by rendering chicken skin with onion. And it's very popular right now because it's Passover. So we missed Passover, but essentially we're just doing this for the future. And we're going to have it in these little containers. Again, we're going to pack it cold, selling 12 ounces at a time. And people can use that fat for several different things. They can cook with it. They can spread it. They can, basically substitute any vegetable oils they might be cooking with our delicious chicken fat.
Yeah. And people know the dangers of cooking with certain types of vegetable oils, especially like canola oil. People are moving more towards coconut and things like that, sesame.
Yeah, and even coconut breaks down. Olive oil for sure breaks down. We don't want to heat up those oils. And this will give them another modality to use. And it's just delicious, and it's good for you.
They used to cook French fries. McDonald's used to cook French fries in tallow back a long time ago.
Did they really?
And then they started moving to canola oil.
Vegetable oils. Took to replace. So tallows fat's making a comeback.
It is, because one of our favorite places, Crowburger up in Newport Beach, when we used to go up there a lot more often to get our sweet potato fries, we had them specially done in the duck fat. Duck fat. My gosh. I know what you mean.
Duck fat's super expensive.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
That's why those fries were just golden.
Man,
they were worth every penny.
They're so good.
Yeah, there's a couple fat companies online that are selling fats.
So I'm sure you have a lot of ideas for different animal-based products. And,
truthfully, we're the grass-fed beef product is definitely something we're working on. I got a great meeting next Monday with one of the grass-fed farmers from Arizona. He's coming out to check out our product, and we may partner on his his cows.
Okay.
And he's got a USDA facility. That's another situation with the beef broth. It needs to be USDA inspected.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Which is a different animal, so to speak. I don't know beyond that, animal-wise, probably going to stick with what we're doing. Of course, a lot of people are making mixed animal broths. We're going to stick to what we're good at for sure, but the other one we could do is going to be a vegan broth.
Oh, really?
A vegetable broth. I've been reading a lot about the healing powers of mushrooms, and even infused with kale and ginger and things that, again, this is a product that anyone could make. Yeah. But people don't want to make things.
Yeah, it's true.
You ever notice how many food stores there are out there and how many convenience items there are? And that's one of my hopes, too, in the near future as well, is to introduce a cooking series on getting people back to the table, getting people back in their kitchen and understanding the value that it brings to their family, their friends, their children, and being able to, the reward you get from taking a vegetable, an animal product, an egg, butter, and creating something in your kitchen.
Yeah.
It's just so healing.
It's priceless.
It is. And the love, again, that you're doing and the time, and just kind of take people out of that mentality that they need to just constantly be on, constantly be checking in, and it's a little crazy right now.
Yeah, you
got to break out of that cycle.
Yeah, it's a weird time because, people, like you were talking about the 50s earlier, people would move into this convenience type of lifestyle and convenience food and things. But now it seems like we're busier than ever, but there's this awareness that we want to start working with our food more and creating and making and cooking our own food. So there's this blend of all the busy lifestyles, the internet, the cell phones, and all this stuff. But then there's also this infusion of knowledge where people really want to start making their own stuff. So you get this crossover. And that's where you and I come in, is where we do make a lot of our own food, the broths and things like that, but then, man, it's just awesome to have our refrigerator or freezer stocked with stuff,
And again, we encourage people to make their own product, cook their own broth, and we understand that we're going to find people, even in our movement for sure, and they may not have the opportunity to get great bones. They may not have the time. They may be doing something so important that they want to just be able to know that they have a really well-sourced, delicious product that's going to be good for them, coming straight out of their freezer, right into their pot, into their thing. And listen, in the beginning, I said, hey, everybody could make bone broth. And my buddy Darren said, yeah, anybody could make popcorn too. Natural Food Expo, we went to Natural Food Expo past few weeks ago up in Anaheim there, and there must have been 50 popcorn vendors.
Wow.
Really?
There's, I don't want to count how many food bars there were.
But
and there was the only thing that was interesting about the Natural Foods Product Expo, as good as it was, there wasn't a whole lot of natural food up there.
Really?
There's a giant section on cosmetics and things, and again, they're all touting out organic and natural, or maybe not even organic, but natural. But things like just wrapped up, packaged things that are. I don't know. It was just interesting. There wasn't a lot of chicken. There wasn't a lot of people with there was a lot of just extruded grains.
Yeah. Highly
again,
processed, maybe some of it.
Yeah.
So you were saying before the show that you're going to be at what conference are you going to be at coming up?
Yeah, I got a great opportunity coming up here. I'll be at Paleo FX.
Where's that going to be located?
That's in Austin, Texas.
Oh.
Paleo FX. It's the #1 and largest paleo conference in the world.
That's
be
right.
Up there with Rob Wolf and Mark Sisson and all those folks. We'll be doing 3 things there, Justin. We'll be having a vending booth with our bonebroth.com with all our products there. We're going to be having I'm going to be doing a chef's demo, which will be on the chef demo stage on Friday, and Saturday I'll be doing a workshop.
Okay.
One of the listed workshops is featured speaker with Kayla Daniel, none other.
Okay. Nice.
And the PhD author of Nourishing Broth herself.
What is her website?
Nourishing Broth. NourishingBroth.com.
Okay, cool.
Or the Weston A. Price Foundation. I'm not sure what their website is. I think it's WAPF.com.
Okay.
And I think, interestingly enough, too, we're going to be featured there with them speaking about bone broth. She's going to do the whys. I'm going to do the hows. And, like I said, coming down the line, too, we're going to have a couple more products. We have this delicious ginger. We're going to develop some soups this year.
Nice.
So our first bone broth soups will be coming out. And that's all with the new packaging, and it all takes funding.
So when is that conference going to be going on, PaleoFX?
The PaleoFX is April 24th through the 26th, Friday through a Monday. I get early stuff there. I'll be there from Wednesday to Sunday.
Okay.
We'll be having a, like I said, a booth there, talking about all things bone broth. And again, this is a huge audience for us. It's something we really need to gear up for because we're going to be meeting a lot of people there, and those guys have some big lists.
I bet.
Yeah, my goodness.
Well, this is really great on so many levels, but it's great because there's people in the chat room from the UK and places that are like, I've never heard of this product. You know, maybe one day we can expand. I just feel like everyone just needs to get the word about, because sometimes I have to say a lot of our listeners and myself, we're kind of in a healing mode, and sometimes you don't have the time or the energy or the health in your body to be able to stand there and pull the chicken off the bones, and this is just an awesome thing, because I know when I was going through some stuff, especially last fall,
you don't want to make broth.
You don't want to make broth, and and the fact that I loved that you and I made it a sacred thing in the morning. We actually thawed one out the night before. We took it made it into a pretty mug, and we sat there for like just a half hour and just were with the broth, and it just became this sort of ritual thing we did for the whole season last year, and it was beautiful. I have to ask, true or false, when you thaw out that broth, you can't refreeze it again, can you?
Oh, actually, you can refreeze it.
Can you?
Yeah, you can. But again, we have 5 to 7 at a minimum, probably longer. We write 5 to 7 days once you defrost it. That's only 24 ounces.
Okay.
Most people should consume it within 2 to 3 days.
But it can be refrozen.
Absolutely can be refrozen. Sure, this product is not, and we tell people when we get the shipping, as long as it's slushy,
okay,
it can go back in there. We don't prefer it, but
sometimes you can't help that with shipping.
Yeah, exactly. With shipping, it's going to defrost slightly, and but no problem refreezing it. Again, if you really needed to, you had to have a cup and you're going on vacation or something, you can put it back in the freezer. We just don't recommend put it back in the container we ship it to you in.
Oh, why is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just because you got better containers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have better containers at home, or you use some other thing. Like we're using a bag, or a Ziploc bag would be good. It's just once you take the seal off it, and like I said, we're going to go back in this container, which you will be able to refreeze right in this bag.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool because we're talking before about the seasons of life, and we're talking about the benefits of this kind of thing during, pregnancy. Times right after birth. You're not going to be making broth.
It has amazing implications. My really good friend and close associate, Krista Orecchio from The Whole Journey.
Oh, yeah.
She's an amazing promoter of bone broth. Her and I, actually, we did a show. Again, just to put it in perspective, she had me on Fox News in October of 2012 as well, doing a segment on bone broth.
Dang.
And at that point, we didn't get any air at all. We didn't get any no one really cared, and no one really knew what it was. And of course, last year we had the New York Times made it what it is, basically, by grabbing this guy in New York City and say, hey, this guy's actually selling soup by the cup. Oh my God, he's handing out the window. It's called bone broth. So it was pretty amazing. But like I said, we were way ahead of the curve in that respect, and it was God's plan for me, so no big deal there. Just doing what I'm supposed to do.
You know what? It would be super awesome if this were ever available. I know we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but man, if we could just pull off to a Starbucks and most people are getting coffee and they had your broth at like a Starbucks, I would do that.
Jimbo's Deli, we have a broth by the cup.
Oh, you do at Jimbo's?
Yeah, Jimbo's Deli, all the 5 stores.
Okay.
Some of the stores, it's just a matter of space. Well, hopefully we're going to be in Erewhon. When we get in Erewhon in Los Angeles, we want to be in their tonic bar, have a little, soup by the cup. And, guys, last week, as hot as it was here in San Diego, we sold 22 gallons of broth by the cup.
Oh my goodness.
To 5 Jimbos. And that's the only places we've been to. We've approached a couple coffee shops. And if I had 4 of me, we'd be in 100 coffee shops. Yeah. But again, it comes down to being able to expand. We deliver it to them fresh in a gallon container, and they put it into a soup crock, basically, electric soup crock, stainless steel insert, and they sell it by the cup. So that's what they're doing in New York. That's what if you set your Google alerts to bone broth, you see articles all over about people touting their ramen, and a lot of people are springing up saying, hey, wait a second, I've been making bone broth for years. I've been doing this ramen thing and pho and different things. And again, I just be careful of the source, though, because a lot of people aren't doing it organic. And, we're just about organics, man. We're about helping people at that level, and when it
super
comes to
high quality,
high quality, exactly.
You have a.
I don't know about Starbucks, but maybe I've heard that Dave Asprey might be doing some cafes, and I thought about approaching him and seeing if he wants to do bone broth, bulletproof bone broth, you know, or something like that.
Nice.
Put a little name on it.
A little cross-marketing. I was going to do bulletproof bone broth, but I know it's his big thing. So I haven't met him yet, but apparently he's all about coffee. So
Yeah.
You're getting a request for drive-through organic broth.
Drive-through organic
Wouldn't that
broth.
be amazing?
People saying that in the chat.
Yeah.
Chris and I talked about it. I think, my model right now would be more to just give it to places that already exist because of the startup costs. I mean, I'm in San Diego, San Clemente. You can't. I mean, it's hot.
Yeah.
People are not. I like to say, sales of ice cream may not dip in the winter, but sales of broth definitely dip in the summer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's
true.
But we're figuring out some ways to circumvent that. And again, I think there's going to be more and more coffee shops coming online that want to carry bone broth and want to have a broth by the cup option for people.
Yeah.
And again, that's got to be in places where people are looking to go there for health, though, too. When they're getting a really good drip cup of organic coffee, that would be the place. A Starbucks, I don't know if they're really going to want to get a cup of bone broth there. But I think, a little like Hanson's Deli or a little hipster place that might be around. Like I said, Erewhon's got their tonic bar, or one of these other natural food stores where they have juice bars and things that are selling a detox. And I know there was
Mother's Market has a juice bar.
A juicery up in San Francisco that was, we're a juicery. We're going to start carrying bone broth now to our juicery. So a vegan juicery saying, we can accept bone broth. So that's what I'm hoping to get into that market as well.
Yeah.
Offer that product.
There's a lot of upside, a lot of potential. Amazing people learning about all the healing benefits. I mean, that's where it all starts, is getting the person off the street to realize just how powerful this food is. Amazing minerals and the gut healing things that are going on. And
absolutely.
And getting people to understand that as the first step. And which is cool that there's a huge teaching component to this, right?
Sure. Absolutely. It's a learning curve. And, we're all grateful for the massive popularity we received this year and the endorsement of a lot of people. I mean, I've got endorsements from some serious big hitters out there. One of our clients is Dr. Kellyanne Petrucci. She's over in Philadelphia. She's been on The Doctors. She's been in Dr. Oz. We've got a really great Ayurvedic Indian gal named Dr. Kulrit Chaudhry. She's down in San Diego. She loves our product. I'm trying to get in touch with her again because she's writing a book about something and wants to put us in there.
Oh,
and,
nice.
So we got some big doctors coming on. I mean, obviously people like Paul Chek, Krista Orecchio, all of our number one food bloggers, Wellness Mama you mentioned, Sean Croxton. And the thing about these people that makes them so amazing is they're doing the research and they're getting firsthand information from people that are doing the protocols.
Right.
And Sean and I talked a little bit last year about introducing this cooking series potentially in a video form, and really offering good stuff to people that people can grab onto, people can bite, people can really sink their teeth into it and change their lives. Change your life. You're making a choice every day, choice by choice by choice, and if you start changing your choices, you start changing your life. And when you make a choice to, like you guys were doing, you made a choice to have some time together, to do something together, to enjoy something together, and that alone is just so synergistic with the rest of your life and what you're doing for healing. And we're under attack all the time from everywhere, from the media, from our food that we've been eating for all our lives, from just so many different social things that people put on us.
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing is like saying, you know what, I'm going to put up my arm, put up my hand, I'm going to stop, take back my life, take back a moment here and there.
And the beautiful
I'm going to walk for 30 minutes a day.
Yeah. What's so great about it is it's a daily discipline. It's something that you have to do every day. It's not something that you decide to do once, but it's something that you have to do every single day.
Right.
So it's really cool because people are saying no to one thing and yes to something else. And that's sort of what we did is introducing these things. And it's the ultimate way. It's ultimate sense of saying, I love myself. I care about myself, and I
value myself.
I'm worthy of investing in myself, and I matter, and all these types of things. And when you feed yourself real food, those are the messages that you're saying to yourself.
Absolutely. We had I had this video was going to come out in a few week or less with Paul Chek. And I got this holistic guru, Paul Chek, and we were making my first soup that's going to come out, which is the coconut, ginger, lemon, and mint bone broth. Oh. And he's got it on his hand. He's literally holding it in his hand, and he's talking about, this is a guy who is, if you don't know him, you should get to know him.
Yeah,
he's an amazing guy. And he's holding this broth, talking about how it's hitting him at a cellular level. How he can feel the broth actually just, moving in his body. And again, it comes down to your body recognizing food as its energy, as its source. It's molecularly what your body is looking for. And that's any real food. When you bite into a delicious apple, or you take on a beautiful, pastured egg or whatever you're eating.
It's a real food.
It's a real food. And your body goes, wow, I love this.
Yeah, and it knows exactly what it is. And
And with the soup, it's so comforting, with any kind of soup. And then my wife made a beautiful carrot soup the other night. She just took the bone broth, sauteed some carrots with a little ginger, put a little turmeric in there, pureed it when they were soft. Phenomenal, delicious. Little pinch of sea salt. It's pretty simple.
Oh man,
so
that's just.
Well, I have to say, I might have missed my calling because this is a true story. You've heard this before. In high school, we had to take those aptitude tests about what you're interested in. You fill out this questionnaire. Mine came up chicken farmer, right?
Oh,
I think had I actually followed that path, you and I could be business partners right now.
Chicken farmer.
Chef Roll.
Speaking of business partners, if you would like to support our Kickstarter, we'd love to have you send an email to us. It would be theflavorchef@gmail.com or go to theflavorchef.com, which is our main website.
Awesome.
Or through the Brothery, just poke us up hit us up on Facebook.
Is the Kickstarter, is that website URL, is that already up or not yet?
Not yet. We've got about, we're shooting for a launch by April 20th.
Okay.
And
April 20th,
we'll let everyone know. We'll let your audience know. We'll let your email list know. And we're going for a couple of things. We need to raise about $15,000 to $20,000 to get this walk in and get this a new kettle installed, things like that. We're going to look to do that in the next month or two.
Okay.
And we know we're going to get a huge residual from PaleoFX, and these type of things go out, and we want to be able to meet the demand of all the people that want our product.
Yeah, you got to grow at the slow rate. Like you're
that's
talking about
exactly
before.
what we've done. We've really been methodical about not making sure we don't. I can't call Dr. Kellyanne and tell her, have me on the doctors with you. We'll talk about bone broth because it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
So we're doing it slowly. We want to build up to that place. Eventually, have a fourth kettle by fourth quarter.
Okay.
And the kitchen we're in now, currently, we have to kind of remodel it a little bit to add that fourth kettle. So there's some costs involved in that.
So if people follow you guys on Facebook, they'll be able to see when you do launch the thing, right?
Absolutely. And we don't have a huge page, but the Flavor Chef is the name of the Facebook page.
Okay.
So
and do you have a newsletter list too on your site that people can?
We will. We're relaunching the website probably within a week or so.
Okay.
And then we'll have a place where you can opt in, like everyone else does, and hopefully we'll build our list a little bit and get the word out.
That'd be awesome, because then I'm sure when you have new products or new things going on, you'll let people know.
Yeah, one thing we're going to do, the Kickstarter was going to offer an array of our new products to everyone who purchases and supports us. Nice. And we'll probably release that again 4 or 5 weeks later after the Kickstarter closes. But
I love it, man. I just love that there's things like this. In 1980, people weren't talking about bone broth, and people weren't. Not only were they not talking about it, they didn't know about it, and not only those two things, but there weren't guys like you out there making it easy for people.
Yeah.
Thank you for your work. It's world changing.
We appreciate it, man. And I like I said, it was thankfully for me it was a calling that I just listened and
awesome.
Had a little thing on my computer. My wife put up there. It said success, perseverance. Success, perseverance, and just persevere, Lance. Just keep persevering and follow your dream and the vision, and that's what we've done. So,
and it's cool too that with us as well. It's nice when your dream happens to be something that makes people healthier, makes the world a better place. That's always good. Gosh, because people find out that the things that they're doing are toxic, and then they've invested their whole life into these things, and they have to.
Completely rewrite.
Do I keep going or not? But the stuff that we're all doing, it feels like such a blessing to be a part of all this.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're extremely blessed.
All right, so thebrothery.com theflavorchef.com is your main website, and you also have the Flavor Chef.
Theflavorchef.com, yes.
And the coupon code is Extreme10.
Correct.
Extreme10. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming down.
Sure. I just want parting words. Just remember, love is the ultimate spice.
I love it.
Get
Thank
it in
you.
there and remember that just do things with love, and the ultimate energy deriving the universe is love. And as I like to say, love wins.
That's right. Yeah. I'm reading a book called Love Wins.
Yeah, you are. I was like, it's right under there.
Nice.
So the brothery.com and the flavorchef.com. Thank you so much for coming down.
Awesome. Great show.
I really appreciate it so much. All right, so this is episode 371. So all the show links and the people that we talked about, the Wellness Mama, Sean Croxton, former guest. We should have the Wellness Mama. What is her name?
Katie.
Katie, yeah, we should have her on the show.
Yeah, she's cool.
All these links will be available at extremehealthradio.com/371. And we'll put all the links to the different websites and things like that on there. And you can also go over to thebrothery.com, theflavorchef.com, which I highly suggest you do. Learn how to make it yourself, and then go over there and get their bone broth and see if what the difference is. And you're going to love it.
Yep. You can taste the differences. It's fun. We have a little experiment all the time with our ongoing broths. They taste a little different every time. And then we have,
The master
over here. I'm bowing over here.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
All right, everybody, extremehealthradio.com/371, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Love you guys.
All right, episode 371. That was a wrap.
That is a wrap. That went really fast.
Didn't it?
Uh-huh.
How do you like having people in studio? It's pretty fun, huh?
I like it.
Do you like it?
I do like it. I think it brings it to a different level. I feel like the relationships that are being made just, I don't know, I feel like there's some lifetime friends coming out of this stuff.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, he had a whole crew. Who else was with him? Two other guys, cameraman. They're going to do a YouTube video out of it?
And a Kickstarter, right?
That's right.
And a YouTube video. And that was David. He was really cool. He reminded me of David Beckham a little.
Oh, he did.
Got the funky haircut. He was cool and artsy. And he's a cool guy. Where was he from?
Czechoslovakia.
Who's cool.
Yeah.
And then Garrett, who sounds like he's a naturopath, but a nutritional counselor. And he was fascinating too. And he was overseeing a lot of Lance's business stuff. And
right.
Yeah, he was here taking notes and kind of just really present with us. It was really neat. So yeah.
We've got a lot to get to about this particular show, but first I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about this rebounder that we are promoting. It's called the Bellicon Rebounder, and normally I just put a commercial here, but I just want to tell you guys more about it. Personally, I don't know if you have one. Remember, Kate, we started off with those little ones from Walmart?
Mm-hmm.
Those were...
it was like jumping on rocks and concrete.
Oh, my gosh.
Those things had no give.
Yeah, it was really bad on my joints too. Remember, because
wasn't your knee hurting or something?
Yeah, I was doing it somewhat after I had torn my ACL in jiu-jitsu, and I never had surgery for it. And then I think it was like even a year or so after that I was doing rebounding, and I still couldn't do it on those hard rebounders.
But yet you would do it, and then you would complain for weeks on end about how much your joints and your tendons hurt. But yeah, I didn't know the difference. I mean, we probably had one of those for a good couple of years before we got the Bellicon, and I mean, I think any kind of bouncing movement's better than nothing, but we realized, oh my gosh, we had them, when we did get the Bellicon, we put them next to each other and bounced from one to the other, and it was like landing on literally a pile of concrete.
I know, right?
And just no give. And then you went back and it's like this really bouncy... how do you describe the Bellicon?
The Bellicon's, it's different because the other ones, it was really hard to... The first thing I noticed is how springy and bouncy it was and how easy it was on my joints, but the Bellicon, when I first got on it, compared to the one that we had before, which was like a $30 one from Amazon or from Walmart, was the one from Walmart. It was really hard on my joints, and I realized that it's hard to let your feet leave the mat. Like, you actually had to do a lot of work.
That's right.
To try to leave the mat. But with the Bellicon, it's like a full trampoline.
It really is. I feel like once you kind of got a little momentum going, you could almost just not do anything with your body, and you feel this residual bounce. That was weird. I agree.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what stuck out to you first. And I think you were right on that.
Yeah, and it's cool, too, because we have some people living below us and where we live. And the cool thing is that they actually sleep below where I do my rebounding. And last night, I don't know if I told you, I did my rebounding last night.
Oh, to do really late?
Yeah, I did it really late and wanted to make sure and get it in. Because I do about 25 minutes a day on it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I break it up. I'll put it out on the floor and I'll break it up over the course of the whole day. I have a little stopwatch, so I'll do a minute here, 3 minutes there, 5 minutes there, and kind of add it all up. But last night I hadn't done it because we were up at Dr. Bergman's. And so I did it. It was like 11:45, and they can't hear a thing.
Wow.
They can't hear a thing.
Yeah, I can't hear a thing when you have the door open to this office and I'm in the living room on the couch. I can't hear a darn thing.
Yeah.
I used to hear the squeaky springs of the Walmart one.
The springs would break.
They did for us. I think we lost a couple of them.
Yeah, then we had to go buy another one for $50. It just makes so much more sense to get a high quality rebounder. And I think if you do it through our link, if you do it through PayPal on the Bellicon's website, they offer, what is that called? It's called pay later, some sort of service. That
bill me later, I think.
Yeah. So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon, that's B as in boy, ELLICON, you can go over there and we'll get a little commission for your order. And we highly recommend these things. If you were sitting here in person, we would tell you that these are just the best things, and we use ours every single day. We have the big one. It's the biggest size they have, and we have the one with the foldable legs. We really like those because it's easy to store. And rebounding is it's one of the things. It's a cellular exercise, so people don't realize it exercises every single cell in your body. So you're detoxifying your lymphatic system. You're working the cells in your eyes. I mean, you can't even go to the gym and work out your eyes. I mean, you can't go to the gym and work out your tonsils. I mean, it works out literally every single cell in your body.
That is so strange.
Cleanses the lymphatic system, and it's a lot of fun. I do it. It improves your strength and conditioning, cardiovascular health, circulation, and I usually just throw on some sort of documentary, some crazy, documentary.
Aliens Among Us.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in the Bellicon, check that out.
Chemtrails in my soup.
Chemtrails in my soup.
Just kidding.
Yeah, you've been doing it more lately, and
I did for a while there at the beginning, and then I went through a time where, for those who followed my health journey, I felt like my body was hurting a little much to go the up and down motion on my organs. Kind of disturbed me for a while, but now I'm back to feeling like I'm back on the path, and I've re-entered into the Bellicon world, and I have a whole thing. I do a whole system.
Do you?
I do the sauna first, and then I have to get really hot and sweaty, and I love that. And then I get out, towel off, and then when I'm trying to get cool, I actually jump on that thing with the AC here in this office and the fan above going, and I just feel like $1 million. I feel like I just went to the day spa.
Oh yeah,
I feel like worked from the inside out. It feels so good.
I used to do a little routine where I did skin brushing.
Oh right.
And then I did the rebounder to get the lymphatic system going and cleanse from the skin brushing. And
That's
then
probably a really good call. And then end up in the sauna.
Yeah.
And then replenish with the green juice. Ooh,
I know, right?
Might have to have spa day today.
Spa day with Kate. So check it out. If you guys are interested in it, extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon, and you can learn more about it there. And we appreciate your support. So check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. So, what do you think about Mr. Lance Roll?
He is larger than life.
Isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I was warned from his crew that his hands would be going, and they were going.
Italiano.
Italian? Is he Italian? Well, he's New York.
He looks like he could be Italian.
Yeah, we'll give him that.
Italian descendant, some sort of DNA.
Yeah.
He's great.
He is. I really like the guy. I love how he's. First of all, I love how he claims which I believe, he got this divine download about what to do with his life from God. And I mean, what a simple concept. I'm going to make broth, but I'm going to add in love and intention and the best possible ingredients on planet Earth that we've been given to make the best quality products. I mean, I really value people that have that kind of a vision. And it sounds like, I mean, when he was sharing with me before the show, his journey, it hasn't been easy. It's not like he just had this idea and then he just started doing it. I mean, it sounds like he dipped down to, into his savings and retire. I mean, I don't know exactly what he said, but it was like, wow, they were living off fumes, and he was taking a giant leap. And like most of us who do that thing, you don't see the results right away. And you might even feel like, he didn't say this, but he might have even felt like giving up at times. But Now, look, I mean, he's going to be at the Paleo FX conference and shipping all over the place. I just find it so cool that he only lives about 20 minutes to a half hour away from us. And we've been buying that broth at least the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. How did we find out about it originally?
I remember I kind of mentioned this on the show. It was, we found out about, excuse me, I drink a little water. We found out about it from our friend Sean Croxton. I think we saw...
Oh, that's right.
Excuse me, that video that he did in Sean's kitchen.
Was that how we first got introduced to him?
Yeah, and then we thought, oh my gosh, so if this guy's near Sean, because Sean's just
San
Diego. South of us in San Diego, yeah, like an hour away. So we thought, okay, if he's with Sean, he's got to be local. And so we looked at this thing, and he's local. And then we thought, okay, well, how do we get his stuff? We'll have to ship it or
drive down south.
Yeah, and get it. But then we found out his stuff is being sold at the place that we already shop at here in town.
Like a mile. That was shocking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it said that they had them in stores in San Diego County. We thought, well, that X's us out of the equation. And then we looked up, and I couldn't believe it. We were literally the last store.
Yeah.
Now there's one a little bit. There's another market in San Juan.
Oh, right.
About 10 miles up the road that has it. And that might be the cutoff so far. But yeah, if we can get into mother's markets and
I think eventually if they get in Whole Foods, that's going to be huge because that's going to be all around the nation. And like you said, it's going to be a huge impact on his business. It's a good impact, but he's going to have to figure out a way to sustain
keep up with
that.
the demand. Yeah. We'll say we knew him when.
We knew him
I'm
when.
just kidding.
Bone broth has been a huge addition in our life, and I'm glad that we've been doing it. It's helps to rebuild the gut, brings incredible minerals in your body that you're not going to get from plants. Incredibly healing because of the Ayurvedic nature of the temperature of it.
It was so sustaining to me during those fasts I was doing with liquids.
Oh my gosh, you couldn't have done those.
No, I couldn't
just
have.
Green juices?
No, not my body at this time.
Yeah,
not saying I wouldn't be able to in the future, but that was just the key factor that I think kept me going as long as I have with the last couple fasts I've done.
Yeah, so were you doing like 50% bone broth, 50% juice, or was it more juice? Or?
No, I'd say it's about equal. It was probably about equal.
How much bone broth were you drinking?
I was drinking a lot.
When you were doing that cleanse?
What is that's a gallon over there. I was probably drinking 32 ounces.
Of bone broth?
Of bone broth a day.
And then equivalent in juice?
Juice, yeah.
And then water?
And a ton of water.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be just an amazing thing for people to try, I think, is to do that combo because you're healing your gut and you're also cleansing as well.
Right.
With bringing other minerals in with the green juices.
Yeah, because I felt like in the past when I've done green juice ones, I did feel amazing, but I also felt a little wiped out, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just depends person to person, I think, what you're trying to achieve and where you're at with beginning, a fast with your health. And everyone looks different, but the bone broth saved me. And at that time, like I was saying on the show, I feel like, depending on what state of health you are in, some people, like at that time, I couldn't muster up the energy to boil my bones and keep those going. And it wasn't so much boiling the bones is easy, but it's, we buy these organic rotisserie chickens from Whole Foods.
Oh, right.
And taking off all the chicken, that can take like 20 minutes to a half hour. And it's like we usually do 3 or 4 chickens at a time, and I just didn't have that in me. So having those stocked up in the freezer was just a lifesaver.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It was a lifesaver.
Yeah, it's really cool because we're talking about this during the show, or before the show, is that, when he came over to our place here, is that, he really wants to teach people how to make bone broth. And so I think, what needs to happen is the level of education needs to rise in terms of how healing of a food it is. But then once you start making it, you can't sustain making it all the time.
It's quite a big deal.
We start off making it a lot, but now I don't know if we're equal or whatever, but it's great to have when you can't go to the store or you can't get the chickens, or you can't go to a farm or whatever. You have a bunch of these packs in your freezer and it's just boom.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm glad there's people out there like him that are doing this type of thing.
I know.
It's
if he wasn't making that, you're right. Where would we? Where are we going to get that quality of a product? It just wouldn't exist.
Yeah, we'd have to make it all ourselves, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But
it makes you
imagine doing
work.
this if you're doing a green juice bone broth cleanse, and you had his bone broth along with a Norwalk juicer.
Oh my gosh.
You make all your juice in one day. You could do a week-long cleanse and put a little honey in that juice for the enzymes.
Stick them in the freezer.
Put it in the freezer.
Or in the fridge even.
And then put some what is that? What is that product from Mega Hydrate? I think from Dr. Patrick Flanagan.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah, Mega Hydrate. I'll write it down.
Okay.
And that keeps the oxygen levels high, and then the enzymes, and you can make a juice for a whole week in the Norwalk juicer.
That would be my that Norwalk is a dream,
isn't it?
Yeah, because we barely skip a day on our Breville juicer, which has been great all these years. But yeah, the ultimate dream is
$2,500 juicer.
Oh man, and that pressed action. I just love pressed juice. It's phenomenal.
It's awesome.
It does look like quite an ordeal from the video we watched back in the day as far as the procedure, but once you're done juicing for the whole week. If you want to be. Yeah,
totally.
Yep.
Awesome stuff.
I tell you, it was a good interview. Fun.
Yeah, it's good to meet people in person. I like it.
That was great.
They're willing to come here and spend some time with us.
Thank you, Chef Lance.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about that Q laser that we ran the ad for, the Barf World that we promote, we had, what's his name, Robert Mueller from Barf on the show a couple times. He was on twice. Mm-hmm. One World Whey, which we do every single day. Ty Bollinger talked about that on the show. And the Vitamix too. If you use our link, extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, you'll find all that's, actually you'll get free shipping on the Vitamix.
Well, that ain't too shabby.
Yeah, and the Bellicon, all these products are located on our store. So if you want to go check that out, there's links to our store and our website. So make sure to use, what is the coupon code? Extreme10?
Extreme10, yes.
Extreme10 for 10% off. That's pretty cool.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it runs through May 2015.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. And on our Instagram, we posted a picture of our freezer, which is stocked with his broth.
Oh, my gosh. I'm glad. It was so cool that he came over. We're like, wow, we actually have some. And he gifted us some more for being on the show. But it was so cool.
Nice. So
it's
awesome.
cool to meet the maker of these things. It's like, wow, you're the guy behind this. And this has been living in our freezer the last year and a half. It's just so cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's neat to meet the man behind the madness.
And also another great feature on our website that we're offering now is the ability for you guys to support us on a per podcast basis. And we, Kate wrote an email about this recently if you're signed up to our newsletter list. But it's very, very important that that you consider doing this if you find any value in our show at all. If you enjoy it and you're able to do that, it's a really great service because it helps us. I mean, it takes us probably about 8 to 10 hours of record time plus post-production work to produce the show and the show notes and everything else, not counting the pre-production to line everything up and get everything working properly and prep for the interview and all that. So it takes a long time to put these shows together. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com/support, you can see a bunch of videos that we've created on that page, and you can see some of our goals and what our milestones are that we want to reach and different things that we want to do. And it's a really great thing. It's called Patreon, and you can sign up right from your Facebook account. So if you have a Facebook account, you can sign up. It takes about 2 seconds, and you can donate to us on a per podcast basis, which is really cool because you can donate even less than $1 per podcast. I know we've had some emails from some starving college students, and we want to let them know that if you want to do 25 cents a show, you can do that. Some people do 10 or $15 per show, $1, $5 per show, and every little bit helps. So if you're able to do this, we really need your help listening to this, wherever you're listening to this. That would be extremely helpful.
Were you mad I wrote that email?
I was surprised. I
like I said in the email, I commandeered the
AWeber account
at 4 a.m. and went for it because I felt like it was a really important thing because we ask a lot, but it just I believe what's going on, as I stated in the email, that everyone thinks everyone else is supporting and nobody really does anything.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you have the like we talked about it. You have a homeless guy like on the street or something like that, and everyone thinks that everyone else is helping him out, but
and you might be the only one that day that gives $1 to the guy. I mean,
and nobody is.
Thanks for hearing me out, everybody, with that email, and we are valuing the support that has come in so far, and continue to keep us limping along over here until things change with Google, and there's a lot of weird things going on out there, but we're grateful, and if anyone else listening would please consider a donation of any amount, we would highly, highly value that beyond words. So thank you guys.
Yeah, we
in
appreciate
advance.
that a lot, so much. It's really, really helpful to us, and every little bit helps. And Kate and I, our face lights up when that happens. We get the notification that someone made an effort and took time out of their day to do that. Exchange of energy for what we put out, and then you guys support us in that way. So our eyes light up and we get all excited. So
we hear a ding on the laptop, and I run into the office. You run out. We're like, yay!
Yeah, so it does mean so much.
It means a lot, you guys. Thank you.
So, Ann, what we're also going to do, too, is read off the names of everyone who shares our shows on Facebook. If you see an update, a Facebook update status from us and from one of our shows, and you share it with your friends, we're going to be reading those off to people, so we'll appreciate that. What else? Is that about it?
Yeah, I'm just craving some bone broth after that whole thing. Yum, yum.
Heal that gut.
Heal my gut.
All right, everyone, this was episode 371. We'll put links to everything we talked about. We appreciate it so much. Go over to theflavorchef.com or thebrothery.com and use Extreme 10. If you're interested in the broth, they ship countrywide. I'm not sure if they ship worldwide. They probably do.
Ooh, wonder.
Yeah.
Huh.
Check that out. So use Extreme 10 through the end of May 2015, right?
Right.
And they can get 10% off. You guys can get 10% off, which is really cool, from Chef Lance Roll. We appreciate that so much. And start incorporating bone broth into your life.
How bad during that interview did you want to say Flavor Flav? Was that guy's name? What was it?
The rapper?
Yeah, was that his name?
That was his rap name.
What was his real name? Do we even know?
I don't even know.
Flav. Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav.
That was hilarious.
What was the guy's name that came with him? I forget the two other guys that came with Lance.
David and Garrett.
Okay, Garrett was the cameraman, right?
Nope, David.
Okay, so Garrett was the nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was talking about some interesting ways to use bone broth and confectionaries?
Uh-huh.
In sweet items. And he
Really?
does a bone broth coconut milk combination that he just loves. And you can, if you do unsweetened bone broth with no salt or anything like that, you can add it to sweet things too, because it's kind of like a neutral flavor.
Where was I when you were talking about that?
You were... I don't know where you were.
We'll have to talk with him more. He was fascinating as well.
He was cool.
I wonder if we can get a couple recipes.